We're going to talk about making the church straight again. Now, I chose this title for our live stream on purpose because I want to see if our betters at Big Tech strip the ads out of this or say that it's somehow it needs to be banished from polite society. I could have chosen any title, but I like Make the Church Straight Again with my good friend and hero, the reluctant prophet of the Castro, Joseph Sciambra.
Thank you, Patrick.
How you doing, Joseph?
Thank you. Good.
Good. Now, you folks have asked me, what's up with Joseph? I haven't seen any of his amazing tweets and photo sessions. Turns out you had some surgery to the ticker. How did that go? Tell us a little bit more if you can.
Yeah, it was more a test. I had an angiogram, but they thought something was going on because I did have heart surgery back in 2008. Oh. I've had a lot of death in my life lately. Mm-hmm. It's been a bad year. You know what the Latins say? Annus horribilis. Yeah. The horrible year. Yeah. I've had a few. You have had a couple. You got to get a little collection of Hummel dolls of bad years. You had the terrible fire and the death of your father. Yeah. When did your father die, Joseph? 2017. Yeah, my dad died April 27, 2018. Doesn't seem. Can you believe how much time's gone by? It doesn't. It doesn't seem. No, I went to his grave today. It doesn't seem that long ago. No. You miss him? Oh yeah, terribly. You had a long story arc with your father, didn't you? From way back. Right. Having read your book. Right. Yeah. We were estranged for a long time. I wasted a lot of time. Mm-hmm. A lot. I regret it. So I think the biblical phrase for that is the locusts who steal the years. That's kind of how it feels. I think a lot of people can relate to that sense of what was I doing? Like why, can't get that time back. I'm getting a scratchy sound, Joseph. Is that, do you know what that is? Weird. You're a little broken up, Patrick. Yeah, that's just emotionally, Joseph. No, I'm okay. Yeah. I might be getting a feedback loop of my own voice. Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe he has a device on his end. From me. Yeah. If you have a device on your end, like your speaker and so on, can you put your computer on mute, if you could, like on your keyboard? Can you hit the mute button? Okay. Right. You're muted, but now I can't hear you. Okay. Put the mute back on. Okay, reverse. Yeah, that's what it is. If earphones would fix it. Right on. Everybody listening, this is our live stream hangout with Joseph Sciambra. Sorry, everybody. To me, he's very sorry, and if you're a Christian, you have to forgive him because if you don't, you will go to hell, according to the Our Father. At least the way the Our Father is currently phrased. So Joseph is the author of a book that I recommend. It's not being published right now. Maybe you can manipulate and browbeat him into selling it eventually. It's the reboot of Spoiled by Satan. It's called Disordered. It's it's not an easy book to read, but it's the true story of his journey from good Catholic boy in Northern California. Maybe we can compress your story, Joseph, from there. You made all your sacraments. Hear me okay? Yeah, awesome. I can hear you. Can you hear me, Patrick? Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, looks good. Okay. I will have a double extra large cheeseburger and fries. Thank you. No. I was just kind of getting into your story, and one of the things that struck me about your writing, and I don't know if this is from your book or from your blog, but you maintain that straight porn made you gay. Yeah. Yeah, it's more complicated than that. But sure. But it's one of the things that contributed to it, because I got into porn really young. So by the time I was like 12, most of the stuff out there in the 80s was pretty boring to me. So you just wanted to just keep the shock and the perversion and the taboo breaking going, and naked ladies after a while didn't quite do it. You had to go to something a little more perverted, a little more edgy, more racy. Exactly. Yeah, and at that time,
bisexuality was just starting to sort of, even in pornography, it was just starting to appear. So, I mean, now it's passé, but so.
Right. Yeah, we have to move on to the next frontier.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
whatever sick thing. I have a feeling, I don't know. I treasure my ignorance of some things, but I have a feeling that there's no sick fetish idea that there isn't a market for now out there somewhere.
That's true.
You write a lot about pop culture, Joseph, and I agree that I think priests, prelates, preachers, teachers need to be talking more about the influence of musicians, pop culture icons, because they wield an awful lot of influence. Here's something I learned from Gavin McInnes. Try this on for size. And I credit Gavin for this. He apparently got it from someone else. I'll say if I'm giving a talk at a parish or at a conference, show of hands, who here has heard of Joe Burns? No hands go up. J.O. Burns was the Speaker of the House in 1935.
Okay.
Oh, wait a second. I thought politics was all important. And then I say, so raise your hand if you've heard of Shirley Temple. Everybody laughs. All the hands go up. Yeah. So what does that tell you? That pop culture figures wield a certain broad influence on the culture. And people, we're mimetic. We want to imitate people that we look up to or see a lot. Yeah. So now you have the journey from David Bowie in the 70s and those big-haired kind of rock bands, I suppose.
80s.
And the 80s, yeah. David Bowie.
Band.
Yeah, the hair band stuff. Madonna, Culture Club. The 80s got real gay. True or false? Do you find the 80s the kind of the apotheosis?
It was two things at the same time. I mean, homosexuality was becoming more mainstream and accepted, but it was also very stigmatized because you had AIDS.
That's right.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was particularly cool to be gay in the 80s because you were a potential carrier of a deadly pathogen. So. But mainly due to Madonna and somewhat because of the new wave.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Homosexuality was becoming more acceptable. Yeah.
I can't think of very many male singers in the 80s that didn't have heavy-duty makeup on. Gary Newman, Kajagoogoo, Depeche Mode, The Cure.
Bruce Springsteen, probably.
Maybe Bruce Springsteen, but he was more the...
I hated him.
Yeah. Can you share the video from your page, from our page to yours now, if you can, or accept the tag as we fly?
Yeah. How do I do that?
How does he do that? Oh, great. Yeah, there's a little share tab, I think. Outside the video. This is fun. I love live international broadcast.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, there should be a word tag share there. Help him out, honey. He's exposing his tongue. It's very disturbing to the children and to the horses. Outside where it says Patrick Coffin Media. Underneath the video there.
It's on Patrick's page.
Yeah, it's on from our page to yours.
Okay.
Just share it.
I'll go to your page then.
Yeah, Brad Patel says he still hates Bruce Springsteen's politics. We got to pray Bruce Springsteen back into the church. His Broadway show has a lot of Catholic stories in it, and he's kind of this one here. No, just one sec, Joseph. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, so there's this nascent Catholic thing about Bruce Springsteen. But back to the point about the 80s and its influence. I don't remember anybody talking about this influence from the pulpit. Catholics didn't seem to care about it. It was like a non-issue. And yet, look at Madonna. I mean, that one woman took away a whole generation of Catholic priests able to preach about the Madonna. Nowadays, it's because Madonna's a 60-year-old woman now. She's still trying to hang on to her 15 minutes or her 15 decades of fame. Oh, there's a rosary metaphor by mistake.
There's hope for her.
I think so.
I kind of see her as like Sebastian Flight. I think
you do?
I think she'll come around. I really do. People think I'm nuts, but I really do. She's still obsessed with Catholicism. Mm-hmm. I mean, to this day, even though she's doing Kabbalah, but she's still obsessed with it. Even her latest album. So, It keeps showing up. It's like Sebastian Flight. You can't get away from it.
Sebastian Flight, the character in Brideshead Revisited.
Right, Brideshead Revisited.
Now, Sebastian was the one. Sebastian's the son of, right? Not the Jeremy Irons one. He's the scion of the guy, Lord Marchmain, who finally comes back home, and he's been living with his mistress for years.
Right.
Yeah, and then Charles Ryder's the one. The novel's much more complicated than the movie. The movie's sort of like gay drama with bare butts, and I didn't really like it, but I really enjoyed the Evelyn Waugh novel. It's very rich. That guy really knew how to describe a scene. Kind of brought you right there.
People argue with me, but Sebastian Flight's obviously gay.
Yeah, so, of course. Gay as a hat box full of Speedos.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, I just think I think. I tell this to parents who contact me sometimes about their kids, and I say, they might come around if, thank God these parents gave them some kind of background in the faith. Not like today where everybody's just kind of feral, but if they had something to hold on to, like our Lord said, a mustard seed, something. I think they just might come around. You might not even see it, and they might be quite old, and you might be long dead.
Yeah,
but that's a hard thing to hear. But
true. Can you shift a bit to your right, Joseph?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's good.
I was 29 when I came back to the church, and it wasn't Handel's Messiah. It's been hard. It's been rough.
It wasn't Handel's Messiah. That's awesome.
No. I tell people I was on my way. When I was on my way in the church, I was on my way out.
Now, you were into some as far as homosexual behavior goes. I mean, this is a family show, so we don't want to get too detailed or anatomical, but you were into some dark occultic stuff with as a gay porn performer, someone who is into that, the darker underbelly of the Castro district in San Francisco. And I'm bringing this up because your return to the church was at the gentle hands and care of very traditional priests who you'd think, according to the stereotype, they'd be the ones most likely to judge you and to make you into a pariah, right? But that's not what happened.
Yeah. I don't know if I would describe them as gentle hands. I think they were strong hands.
Okay, fair enough.
They were hands like St. Joseph. They were workers' hands. And good guys. Not just TLM priests, and I mean traditional Latin Mass priests.
Yeah.
But priests, I guess that we could call Novus Ordo priests, but priests that were on the periphery of the church that weren't particularly popular.
Maybe on the outs with their bishop because they're too wacko, far right, nut bar extremist.
Totally. And you got to remember, I am from the Diocese of Santa Rosa, California, and way before Boston, and this was in '99, the year I came back to the faith.
Yeah.
Our bishop resigned in a gay sex scandal.
Patrick Zeman?
Yes. From LA. Yeah, he was auxiliary in LA. And he was having an affair with a priest in the diocese. So this is the world that I came to the church to.
Right.
And there's more stuff than that went on. And I'm also in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I'm in San Francisco.
Can we start calling it the gay area?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's my little joke.
Yeah.
It
has the largest LGBT population in the United States. Yeah.
As far as the lavender nature of so many archdioceses, you maintain that New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are the gayest, right?
Yeah.
Is that just numerically, or is that because the prelates in those cities either can't or won't discipline or correct or silence or suspend?
Yeah.
It's hard to. You've chronicled this more in greater detail. And the sickening reality of all these uncomfortable facts that most Catholics, frankly, they don't want to hear about because the behavior involved sends people to the exit doors, right?
Yeah.
But I admire you for continuing to do it, Joseph, because
I haven't been doing it lately.
You haven't been doing it lately. Well,
I couldn't do it. It was literally driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Which part of it was the most frustrating? The inaction on the part of the leaders?
Yeah, the hypocrisy. Yeah. The BS. Yeah. They know exactly what's going on. Because it's come from this mouth to their ear. They know exactly. I can name 3 that they know exactly what's going on.
You've presented literature, you've named names, you've not just kind of whispered or sent text, but you've been in front of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And bishops can lie right to your face and say they're going to do something. And you know what? I am kind of a naive person, even though everything I've been through. And I believe them. I thought, well, hey, so-and-so, he's a nice guy. He's actually really going to do something about this. Mm-hmm. The following year, zero.
We can start the list with the so-called Congress, the LA Congress, Religious Aid Congress. Now, it's called Congress, not the Congress. Some questions that I have about that event are, to start with this one.
Bad.
It's in Orange. It's in Anaheim. Now, I know there's historical reasons.
Orange, yeah.
It's in the Diocese of Orange.
Correct.
But somehow we all identify this with, first it's founding prelate, Cardinal Mahoney, and who was sidelined, and his wings were clipped very effectively in 2013, I think, and then that got quickly overturned. Well, I did a radio show there one year, and I've never gone back because every year it gets more and more gay. I can say that. I mean, it's gayer now than it was under Cardinal Mahoney. Is that a true statement?
Yeah. I didn't go under Mahoney's regime. I wasn't Catholic, but I did read about it. But I have gone the last few years, and it's real difficult to shock me. But I was pretty shocked by the stuff that they were espousing. I was like, the secular LGBT community doesn't espouse this stuff. They don't do it. Now, they don't get it. They don't get into God. They don't. LGBT people are kind of irreligious, and there's a lot of reasons why. A lot of them have been burned, and I talk to them all the time. They're spiritual as opposed to religious. And, and I mean, they feel they were born gay, but it's biological, it's genetic, even though there's not a lot of proof for that.
Yeah.
Or any. But you go to the LA Rec and they're telling you God made you gay. What the hell is that about?
Yeah. You wrote a long blog post. It was kind of like a Jeremiad, very powerful, simple word, telling Catholics, stop criticizing secular gays.
Thank you.
And look at your own house, because we're failing. We're failing.
Take the beam out.
Yeah, take the beam out.
And I love traditional Catholics. I love TLM Catholics. I love Charity Catholics. I love them all. I love conservative Catholics. I'm considered myself one. But there is, the gay community has a bit of a point there. They are a bit obsessed with homosexuality. And enough already. The failings of the gay, especially the gay male community, their failings and the recklessness is obvious to anybody with a brain. And I can't look at anything. I don't know, maybe I'm blinded because of my own personal involvement, but I can't some things that Catholics send me I bother me with about gay men, specifically about how sinful and sick and disgusting and barf and doo-doo and all that stuff. I can't look at those people, I'm talking about gay men, with anything but sympathy, because I know what they've been through, and I know why they do what they do, because I did the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So have a little charity, and I'm not making excuses, because it is a spectacle. It's become a huge spectacle, And children are there, which is inconceivable to me. But that's largely due to heterosexual people bringing their kids there.
Yeah, that's right. Gays don't bring their kids. How'd they get those kids? Yeah,
some do, but I mean, it's largely heterosexuals that are bringing their children, and I just can't look at them with any sort of malice, and they're hurt and wounded people, and we should reach out to them, but look at what we're doing just in terms of queer theology.
Yep.
We're just making it so much worse. I mean, born gay is difficult, but you can refute it with science. But when they get into this, it's cultish. When they get into the God made me gay, which is what the Catholic Church is pushing right now.
Some leaders of. You won't find that in the Catechism.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very difficult to refute. It's very difficult to refute.
Is that because people remember their first experiences of being a boy or a girl and being attracted, go sort of to a prepubescent era, and therefore they conclude, well, my earliest memories are feeling this way, therefore I must have been that way from the womb? Because I asked Joseph Nicolosi, may he rest in peace, that question.
Yes, God bless him.
And Joe told me that the reason why it goes back so far in some of their lives, in their memories, is that it was an essential failure to bond with the father at or around 18 months. So it goes to guys, early childhood for guys, Women are complicated. But women are more complicated in general, Joseph.
True. Men are simpler. Yeah, you're right. But it's difficult because you can have a conversation with someone about the biological or genetic possibility of homosexuality, but it's very difficult to say, well, God didn't make you gay, because that's a very personal thing between them and God. And how are you going to refute that? It's very hard to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you have people going around the United States and the world, really, who espouse it, and it gives it a sort of imprimatur. It's devastating. How do you? But the Jesuits have been playing with this for a long time. I mean, I remember John J. McNeill. I mean, if people want to take a deep dive into this, go back and look up John J. McNeill. He was a Jesuit priest, 70s, very big in the 80s. Was on Phil Donahue. Did all the TV, and he was pushing the God made me gay stuff.
He left the Jesuits and became a gay psychiatrist, I think. Right?
I don't know if he ever, I don't know, it's confusing. I don't know if he ever formally left the Jesuits, or if the Jesuits ever formally denounced him. I think he just walked away.
Like a wink and a nod kind of thing.
Yeah, he went and married his same-sex partner, and he left.
People might not know who that is, but he was a major post-Vatican II figure of Jesuitical confusion, and it wasn't even weaponized ambiguity. No, this is open rebellion and contempt for the
Now his church,
biblical teaching.
His first book, The Church and the Homosexual, had the approval of the Society of Jesus at the time. So they were wacko then.
I think
in the 70s.
The Pope, if only the Pope would just suppress the Jesuits. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, awesome.
Maybe not. Maybe that won't happen. I've got like hours of material on you, Joseph. You're just an endlessly fertile brain to pick. But I want to serve the good people who've joined us. So let's turn. I'm gonna go back. Margot says she misses your blog posts.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to bring them back, man. Deacon Charlie Echeverry's in the house. How you doing, Deacon Charlie? All my dear friends in Christ are here. Mark Wolf, Rosario Konarski, Tony Graham, Katie McCarthy. It's not my doggy, Katie. Jeff Kramer. Brad says, thanks, Joseph, for telling your story. You are an inspiration.
Oh,
there it is. Matt Mercier says hello. Tony Graham. Hello, Patrick and Joseph.
Hi, man.
Patrick Malone. Yes, it's finally on now, he says. That was profound, Patrick. Gregory Graham. Hello, Patrick and Joseph.
Oh.
Let me see. Margot claims that Patrick had an afro in the 80s. That's not true.
Wow.
I had a big-haired Rick Springfield type hockey mullet. That's what I had.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. Margot says Patrick is mean to Joe. Mileage will vary on the truth of that statement.
Oh. I don't think so.
Matt says, "Call me dumb, but I thought Bruce Springsteen was quite masculine." True. He
was.
in this.
That's why I kind of didn't like it.
Yeah. Deacon Charlie. Now this is really great. Deacon Charlie, who knows I love him. He says pop culture quote from Sciambra that blew my mind. So I'm going to quote you, and I want everyone else to hear this too.
Oh boy.
This is something to share. Besides what Christopher West tried to do in his more populist presentations, a conservative sort of Catholicism has become bogged down in a really off-putting type of snobbish intellectualism. Because of this, it has utterly failed to address the serious problems posed by pop culture.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Boom. Totally true. We get all above the neck, and Thomas Aquinas teaches this, and then you're just in the weeds of irrelevance. Not that the intellect isn't important, not that arguments aren't important, but this pervasive influence.
People. I've only spoken a handful of times in a Catholic church, and one handful, and people want to hear about homosexuality. They want to hear about porn, and they want to hear about what their kids are up to because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff they want to hear about, but the priests don't talk about it.
Yeah. Well, priests, at least at the pulpit level, are hobbled a little bit because they don't want to get too... They know they're broaching a topic that's A, sensitive, B, might not have been broached by parents. So I'm sure a lot of parents would give severe blowback. Hey, why did you talk about porn to my 4-year-old? She just wants to hear about Jesus and, lambs.
No, not in a sermon, but I don't see them talking about it, period.
You don't? Okay.
No.
Well, that's hard to argue with anecdotal experience, so... But I think you're right. Adam Minahan if you haven't, just one sec. Yeah. So our topic with Joseph Sciambra is making the church straight again. How about like a red hat with writing? Make the church straight again. It's a chapter in one of Milo Yiannopoulos' his book.
Really?
Diabolical. Yes, called "Make the Vatican Straight Again." So I stole it with proper attribution to my friend Milo. Joseph, Matt says, could you explain that quote a bit more? I think we may have a little bit. The conservative kind of Catholicism that's much more comfortable in argued debate mode. Everything's binary versus, outside the church, there are other influences that are affecting our kids way more than Sunday Mass is on just a numerical time exposure thing.
Also, the Catholic media, I guess the mainstream Catholic media. I'm edified so much by Michael Voris has always been outspoken, but since you left Catholic Answers and Terry and Jesse and
male or female? Sounds like how many syllables?
I'm trying to think. Barry, what's his first name?
Doug Barry?
Doug Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are now being very outspoken, especially about the homosexual issue and the Catholicism. But the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it. It's because they're tied in with the bishop so much for access. When back in 2012 and 2013, when I first started talking about homosexuality in the church, and nobody was really talking about, except I guess the Wanderer or something. But
and the National Catholic Reporter.
Yeah, you talked to me now. You talked to me, and I talked to Michael Voris. Nobody would. Well, and I talked to Howard Stern, but nobody would talk to me. And somebody from the Catholic media, mainstream Catholic media, contacted me and said, no one will ever take you seriously now because you talked with Michael Voris and you talked with LifeSite News and.
Well, that's from our.
What am I supposed to do?
That's from our bulging ridiculous file. And by the way, there are some people working inside Catholic media who are open to broaching topics that some people find to be the third rail for whatever maybe misbegotten motives. Edward Penton of the the National Catholic Register, I think, is fantastic. Edward Penton is
he's awesome.
balanced, and he's so articulate, and he's like the anti-bomb thrower. He's this gentle Englishman Catholic. So I think there are some, but I guess that would be an exception proving rule. And also, first of all, not everyone's built for combat. This is something George Weigel told me about the way certain bishops react to conflict. And his example was his longtime friend and one of my mentors, George Cardinal Pell, who still sits in a Melbourne jail cell. He's more built for conflict. He doesn't like it. I mean, he doesn't seek after it, but if it comes, he doesn't back down. That spine is definitely there. And that's a beautiful thing to see in a bishop, where they make a stand, and come what may, they don't take it all back. They don't do a Clintonian apology. They just keep moving forward. And that's the kind of thing that inspires a young man watching to think about things like the priesthood. We've lost the idea of the Christian life as a battle, Joseph. Now it's just a dialogue. Somehow dialogue got imported, almost like this idea virus in the church about 50 years ago. And what's been the net result? Things have gotten worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I still take a bit of an issue with some in the mainstream media because they won't take on prelates who they feel are sympathetic, at least to conservatism. I guess I don't know how to say it, or to a conservative Catholic point of view. Yeah, like they haven't been affected by any of this bull.
I know this is anecdotal. I don't think any surveys have been done apart from the, again, anecdotal observational data from the late Richard Sipe. But in your life experience, traveling, reading, interacting with people, what do you think the approximate ratio of homosexual bishops is in the U.S.?
I couldn't guess.
No ballpark?
I don't know. I couldn't guess.
Because you have to wonder.
I don't know. It sounds like it's quite a few. I mean, if it's reflective of the number of priests who are homosexual, it's high.
Well,
I think it depends on the area too, Patrick. I think certain areas and certain bishops attracted, I mean, if your bishop is gay, I mean.
How can you tell? What are the telltale signs? Let's go a little bit slightly comedy here. Are there little tells? Someone told me this.
Gaydar.
Here's how you. Well, even if you don't have gaydar, if the staff immediately reporting to the bishop is like good-looking men, that's a sign. Have you heard that?
Maybe I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know.
When you say area, you mean like a geographical location that's known to be kind of a lavender magnet?
Yeah, I mean San Francisco, I would say, has a good number. And
well, bishops are drawn from the ranks of priests. So if you're saying a lot of priests are gay, then bishops don't come from the planet Zorkon.
And certain orders, I would say the Jesuits has a high number of homosexuals. So I've certainly come across them. So horrible. It makes me very angry.
Why does it make you angry? Why the anger? Flesh that out a little bit.
Okay.
And move a bit to your right.
LGBT people are just like anyone else. I think they deserve to know the truth. And there's very few of them that are interested in Catholicism, especially the ones that were raised Catholic. They're especially not interested in it. So those precious few men and women who, for whatever reason, find themselves in a Catholic church or talking to a Catholic priest are inevitably going to, and I've talked about this ad nauseum. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but nobody hears it. They're inevitably going to walk into a parish near the gay ghetto. You're just going to do that. I mean, I did it. You know, I'd been away from the church since the 70s, and here it was 99, and I was like, okay, I'll walk in a Catholic church. And what they will find in those parishes 100% of the time. Is a rainbow flag, is gay tea dances, everything you can imagine, and a lot of queer theology. That's what they're going to get. They're going to be lied to by lay people in the parish that are usually homosexual, partnered homosexuals, active homosexuals, all the above, and priests who a lot of times are either gay or extremely gay sympathetic. And they'll hear like somebody gave a homily for their Pride Mass, is that, stay in the church, hunker down, be proud, be gay, go about your life, get married, date, have boyfriends, have if you're a guy, have boyfriend, hunker down, stay in this church. This is our church. Bishops will come and go. This is all stuff I've heard. I'm not making this stuff up. Yeah. And the church is going to change. You will marry in the church. You name it.
Maybe someone can cut and paste into the feed here the question of what happens if your bishop is super gay friendly, like Bishop John Stowe of Lexington, Kentucky, one of the first bishops to throw the Covington teens under the bus. He has a Pride Month prayer card with the San Damiano cross with a rainbow shadow on it.
Let me put a fly in this ointment.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. What do I got to lose? My bridges are burned. I never had them anyway. Look at San Francisco. Archbishop Corleone is considered very conservative by most Catholics. And there are several parishes there where it really counts that, using your words, are very gay. So
by that you mean like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence will show up, rainbow banners, participation in gay pride events, like is it what's the one in New York? Francis Xavier out at St. Paul, that kind of thing, that, like visibly LGBTQ.
No, I would say New York City, the Archdiocese of New York, it's inexcusable. Dolan needs to resign like yesterday, because what the parishes have promoted there is queer Christ.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite gay saints. Pope Francis is wrong, and about homosexuality, transgender. I mean, they just say it out loud.
I've seen an icon painting of Harvey Milk as a saint.
Oh yeah, that's old. That's old news.
Oh.
I mean, they do it with Cosmas and Damien. They do it with Perpetua and Felicity.
How about who's the guy with the arrows? Sebastian.
Oh, Sebastian. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right.
So in San Francisco, I have to say one thing. Since Corleone has since he's been assigned there, it's not. But see, this is more devious to me. I think it's better. Well, I don't think it's better, but I think it's probably more honest if they're open and vocal about what they believe. Well, since Corleone has come into San Francisco, I think it's more under the radar. It's like, let's cover it up.
You mean kind of the ecclesial equivalent of don't ask, don't tell?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, all of the same people are in place. All of the same stuff is going on. It's just not as visible.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because this truce between prelates and these parishes reminds me of the truce of 1968, in which bishops and really Pope Paul VI did not discipline priests who were wayward or publicly dissenting. There was this truce, okay? You don't make too big a deal. I know you're going to disagree with the teaching. I'm not going to come down hard on you as long as you don't open your mouth from the pulpit. And here we are 50 years later. Because my instinct here, Joseph, or my conviction, is that once Catholics accepted birth control, the ability to separate babies from sexual congress, that is the first domino that fell. If you're going to sterilize what God has made a fertile sex act, then you have gayified your union. Straight couples have no business condemning sodomy, because they've actually lived out its equivalent in their own marriages, men using their wives as masturbation tools. I know that's a harsh way to put it, but the logic is inexorable. Of course we're going to have marriage redefined. Of course we're going to have sex with robots. Of course Canada is going to redefine bestiality, which is what they did last year in the Supreme Court. And it's all because sex shorn from conception is the Pandora's box of the culture war. And now we're reaping the bitter fruit. Pardon the metaphor. I really want to get to these questions because a lot of people are asking great questions. I want to throw some traffic to the Catholic Man Show with Adam Minahan and David Niles. They're here. Dan Burke. Hey, Dan. Great to see you, man. I love Dan Burke. I just
He's a good guy.
I just did a sample from our Transform You on prayer, and Dan Burke's the man on prayer.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Terry Abuse, Debbie Chris Stevenson, she says love the sinner, not the sin. True.
Yes.
Mark Wolf says another reason Courage Apostolate can fail. An influential person can complain to the bishop and a shakeup of a successful program can occur. Then it goes downhill.
Courage has to be supported by the priests in the diocese and the bishops. It's not in San Francisco.
There's no Courage in San Francisco?
There is.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to go there.
Well, I do. I want to go where it's going to be helpful to people, and I want you to feel free to just tell the truth, Joseph. Doesn't it feel great to just let your hair down and tell the truth?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to lie, you've got to come up with another lie, and I kind of have to shade it. So just full blast.
I've been involved with Courage since 1999, so 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Very helpful to me. Awesome, because you feel totally wacko when you're kind of leaving the gay community. What are you supposed to do? That's my life. Everything I do is gay. Movies,
identity.
TV, magazines, the way I dress, my friends.
Judy Garland albums, all of it.
Not Judy Garland.
Just want to get one stereotype in there.
Yeah, a Beyonce or something. But so Courage was great because there were other guys there that just found the gay life lacking. So you didn't feel crazy.
Yeah.
I wish Courage, a friend of mine, God rest his soul, said Courage is too clandestine. It's too difficult to get there. It's too difficult to show up. It needs to be like AA, because I would love when I go to the Castro and when I go to Pride and when I go to Folsom, whatever, is to say, hey, there's a place that sounds like Cheers. There's a place you can go, if some night you're feeling low, because every gay guy comes to that place where it's like, this stinks, I don't want to do it anymore. My boyfriend is sleeping with somebody else or something, or I got an STD or whatever. I came to that place and I didn't know what to do. I stayed. So
I was going to mention AA. You're saying if it was higher profile, look at Church X on Street Y, you can go there.
Right.
But now you have to pray to St. Anthony to find a meeting.
Yeah, and you can walk in, and because some people don't. The way Courage is set up right now, at least in San Francisco, the location and time of the meetings are not known. Let's say they're secret. They're secret.
Why? I'm not criticizing. I'm wondering what the rationale is.
Okay, the reason that I was given is that because men who are married to opposite sex partners go to meetings, and it needs to be.
I see. The anonymity is important.
Okay. Yes, but my solution to that was, hey, have those meetings that people don't want to be at a public meeting, but have a meeting open to the public.
Yeah,
I'll go
like an open AA meeting. Sure.
Yeah, I don't care if people know what I did.
Yeah, bring a friend. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't have a wife, but I've never been able to get anywhere with that idea.
Yeah.
Because,
well, no, it's a good idea.
Homosexuality is you got to get people when it's a time, and a conversion can be a specific time and place, and it can come and go.
Yeah, you mean in the sense of it's an event, but it's also a process with zigs and zags and missteps.
Yeah, I don't think people have I don't think people have second thoughts about homosexuality in a sort of way that's like Augustine. I think it's more like Paul. I think people just one day go like, "This is not great."
Is that what happened to you? Did you have like waking up on a Tuesday like, this sucks? I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, it just I couldn't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Guys, and I see this at Pride. Guys in the gay life do come to that point, and what most of them do is they get married. They hit their 40s, 50s, 60s. There's not a big forum for them in the gay male community, and they say, I'm going to get married.
To a woman, you mean?
No, to a guy.
Oh, to a guy.
And check out.
See, now who's the naive one?
And check out.
Gotcha. It's so sad. Margot, by the way, Mary Day Smelser says hello. Margot, a question for Joseph. Have you read Taylor Marshall's book, Infiltration? And what do you think? Do you know much about the St. Gallen Mafia?
A little bit. I like Taylor Marshall. He's a good guy. He's talking about things that people don't want to talk about. I don't think he's a kook.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a conspiracy theorist. Hey, let me tell you something. I was involved with hardcore BDSM. You can't get any more kinky than that. And to a lot of people, that's pretty dark. I can honestly say, I met some people that I was like, I don't want to deal with them, again. But I never like had an overwhelming sense of like evil, like, whoa, that like hits you. When I've been in the church around some people, evil, dark, scary.
Really? But and yet official representatives.
Yeah.
Because of that because of the hypocrisy, because of the double forked tongue thing.
That's where the scary stuff is in the church.
Yeah.
It's scary.
How do you account for the rise and the global platform and the support of Father James Martin, SJ? Because you stood in a lineup, you waited, you talked to him. Yeah. He's heard from you.
He's kind of like, to go back to what I was saying earlier, he's kind of like John J. McNeil 2.0. He's saying the same stuff. It's different. It's a different time, and it's a different era. John J. McNeil was in the 80s with John Paul, and
he didn't last. He could not. He was not a mainstream figure. He was definitely fringy. Most people had never even heard of him, but he couldn't function on the main stage of Catholicism. James Martin can. He's given El Primo keynote posts. He's not fringy.
No. McNeil was in certain dioceses, like who was that guy in Milwaukee? Rembert
Weekland.
Yeah, he got certain forums and venues, but it was pretty limited. He certainly wasn't, nowhere near. And times have changed. Catholics are very accepting of. With young people, it's 80% of young Catholics approve of gay marriage. So
yeah, a couple years ago there was a Pew Research, and this is verified by Sherry Waddell. 54%. Yeah, let's just redefine marriage. They're just not thinking this through, right? They're not thinking it through.
Martin gets people off the hook too, because I see who his audience is. He definitely has an LGBT audience, but it's pretty small. His audience is a lot of parents, P-flaggers, especially women with a gay son.
Yeah, you see that.
And he's getting them off the hook. He's saying, hey, your son was born that way. You did nothing wrong. Dad did nothing wrong. You got nothing to answer for. It's all cool. He was born that way. It's society that screwed up, not your family.
Yeah. It's homophobia.
Yeah. He gets them off the hook. So, of course, they're all going to go and say, wow, this guy's great.
Yeah. All right, Matt Mercier, I know this is sensitive, but can Joseph speak of the connections, if any, between the LGBT agenda and NAMBLA?
Ooh.
This is the North American Man-Boy Love Association, which is the next, it's the next frontier. That's the next frontier, to normalize pedophilia.
Early on in LGBT history, somebody like Harry Hay, who was part of the Manchin Society.
I don't know what that is.
I'm taking a deep dive.
Okay.
these are very early LGBT advocacy rights groups back in the 60s and 70s. And there was some interconnection between NAMBLA. I mean, certainly Harry Hay spoke at he founded the Radical Fairies. So he's a major figure in LGBT history, Harry Hay. And
did he get an award from Obama?
That's another guy. I can't think of his name. He had some connection to, what's his name? I don't know. I've written about all these people.
These are like the Stonewall riots generation.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, now I mean there certainly isn't anything public between like any LGBT group and NAMBLA. I mean that would just be crazy. But I mean if you look at gay porn, right now what is very hot is like daddy porn, which is a much older actor. A lot of times some of these people that were working when I was around, came back in their 50s. And they're pairing him up with guys like 18, 19 years old. And they even have these certain tabloids where it's dad and his son go on a camping trip and they have sex.
This is so disgusting. But you know what is disgusting? It's I want like mental floss. But it's a snapshot of the basis, isn't it?
Yeah.
The father-son wound, the daddy wound. Yeah, and trying to heal it.
One thing that I know is that when you've been traumatized as a kid, you reenact the trauma as an adult. I mean, that's why I got into bondage and stuff, because you reenact it and it's fetishized and it's somehow normal. And you're with people that are also into the same thing. So my heart goes out to everyone involved in anything. But hey, there's a corollary in straight porn too. They have all that Barely Legal and Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, sure.
Teen Runaway and all that stuff. I mean, straight guys get into that stuff too.
Yeah, plenty of sin to go around. And with that segue of plenty of sin to go around, I want to say hi to Chris Sawaya, who also joined us. All right, let's see here. Boy, there's way more than I thought. Let's go down.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about Dan Matson. I haven't heard a thing. Zero.
I only met Dan one time.
I never met him. Interviewed him a couple times. Don't know any about the status there. K. King, your post gave us hope. Please consider writing again.
Who, me?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
She said please. She said please.
Oh, God bless you. Darling, it's very personal to me, this stuff. It's hard. It's hard to write about. It's very difficult. I'm a survivor, but what tipped it over the edge for me a little bit was, the loss of a couple of my friends. Mm-hmm. But I remember just when the McCarrick thing hit, and I've been writing about this and living with it for quite a few years, really since I came back to the church. Mm-hmm. Because the first priest I met kind of like tried to turn me out. He's like wanted me to meet somebody.
What's that mean?
What do you mean?
He wanted you to meet somebody. He wanted you to settle down, meet the guy of your dreams.
He had a dude he wanted me to meet at the parish. So he thought that was the answer for all my problems, was to settle down with somebody.
Like he did. Oops, I didn't say that.
But there was this interview that Worrell did with, I think it was Thomas Rosica, and Worrell was talking about McCarrick and laughing about something. It was very jovial, and I was like, these guys don't get it. They're so disconnected. It's because there's real people behind all this bullshit. Excuse me.
We're Christians, we forgive you.
People have committed suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
This is not, it's not funny. And I get tired. I know people mean well, because I'll say, well, the Catholic Church is doing this, is doing that. And they go, don't talk about the church. Don't blame the church. Talk about this priest. Stop it. It is the church. It is the church. If you go to a hospital and the doctor botches your surgery or, God forbid, kills somebody that you love, you're going to be upset with the hospital. I'm sure there's good doctors in that hospital, but you're going to be upset with the hospital.
Yeah, you're gonna see it as a collective because there were other things often went wrong or bad decisions or incompetence. Why was he hired?
Yeah, doctor so inept.
Gotcha.
And everybody covered it. So Catholics need to knock it off and just stop trying to cover it up. The church is really sick. I've seen it. And it's heartbreaking to me because I don't know. It's all I have. What am I gonna do, Patrick?
I want you to do a comedy blog. I would love to listen to you read. You're not going to leave the church.
I don't get those.
I will sing goes. You don't?
Because I don't write anymore. I used to get those from gay Catholics. I didn't get them from the LGBT community.
Sure.
They're vicious, the gay Catholics. They try to take me down.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
I've gotten threats. It's not from the secular gay community.
Course.
They don't care what I do.
Right. Let's go back here. Debbie, Chris Stevenson Kuzmal, thank you for your honesty and being so transparent. Yes, Matt Mercy says, I think National Catholic Register and Philip Lawler are quite good as well. That's true.
He's awesome.
So there's Catholic Answer said Father Bochansky on Courage. Okay, well, that's good. Edward Penton, yup. All good. Dialogue, synods.
God bless Father Bushansky. I don't mean to talk negatively about Courage. It's the only show in town. I mean, God bless them. If the Catholic Church didn't have Courage, holy moly.
Yeah, that's right.
What the heck do we do?
Isn't it odd that Courage has to exist as a thing? I mean, the numbers in the 40s or 30s, 20s, I don't think they would have even thought to have a standalone apostolate.
It's because so many guys, specifically guys, have just been told by priests there's nothing wrong with being gay. And well, I don't want to say that. There's nothing wrong with acting out on being gay. There's nothing wrong with homosexual activity.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
was told that so many times. I can't believe it.
Like in confession context or with talking to priests?
Oh, yeah. I was told that as a teenager when I talked to a priest. He said, you know what? It's probably wrong. Well, he didn't say it was probably wrong. He said it is wrong for a heterosexual to take part in homosexual activity because it's not the way they were, born. But because I was born gay, of course it's not wrong for me.
That's how the gay apologists read St. Paul. St. Paul was only condemning when heterosexuals do dumb things like, ritual prostitution as opposed to the behavior itself.
Right.
Bree Dial says, you may have broached the topic, but what do you think the connection is to men who engage in homosexuality and the absolute draw to beauty and the aesthetic? See what she's getting there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I did my AIDS memorial on YouTube, I mean, a lot of the guys that died specifically of AIDS were involved with the arts, visual artists, dancers, actors, directors. I think, us who identified as gay or whatever, we're drawn to beauty. I think we're drawn to perfection. I mean, just like Michelangelo, because it's so lacking in our own life. I think we're drawn to that perfect, especially the perfect body. And it's our way, especially the perfect male body. It's our way to reach out to God. But it gets mixed up and
it gets twisted.
It gets sick. I mean, Michelangelo, I think, is a perfect example of somebody who was able to strike that balance because he was definitely SSA. People disagree with me. He was definitely gay, but he was also chaste. And his work, I don't find it erotic. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've heard the same about Andy Warhol, who was a Catholic.
He tipped over into pornography. If you look at his photography, it's hardcore.
Okay,
like Robert Mapplethorpe.
Yeah, another fallen Catholic.
He was also Catholic.
Yeah, I know. Brad Ut Patel, I've been inspired to speak out because of Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules. Yeah, boldness is contagious. Dan Burke, good stuff, guys. Keep up the good work. You too, Dan. Angelato Walter, can't decide whether to put laughing or crying emoji.
Oh.
Yeah. And Margot says, then who the heck is James Martin appealing to? his own bubble, I guess. Kathy,
a lot of people.
Kathy Nunnink, thanks for coming on Patrick Show to talk to us. Know nothings. Brad, again, subsidiarity. We need to pray for more resources to get to the places of the most need. That's true.
Catholic lay people, yeah.
Yeah, we got to step up.
Catholic lay people are largely to blame for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
What's happened to LGBT people in terms of coming to the church? But we're responsible for all this because we let it go on. We let it go on. I mean, some of the mentality is that, hey, keep that parish gay. There's not much we can do with them. It is what it is.
Right.
I've been told that in a different way.
Well, then the bishop has to show up at confirmation time, or maybe that's the parish that he deputizes it to the pastor, which he can do in canon law. I don't know. Catholic Man Show. Catholic Man Show says it's so important to develop real friendships rooted in virtue.
Yes.
Male friendships are very important. I don't care who you are, and it's men don't naturally become friends with other men beyond looking at the same sport event together. So men have to grow in that virtue of friendship.
I recommend it to guys all the time. I said you got to have good heterosexual friends, specifically family men with kids, because we were not modeled masculinity or fatherhood. So it's never too late. And I got that at the TLM. That's where I got a lot of that.
The traditional Latin Mass, that kind of rough-hewn St. Joseph, sturdy. It's. I know what you mean. Yeah, I think you're right about the tender part. Tender's not the right word. I think I said gentle. It's more sturdy. It's like when people say, "Oh, Jesus said to call God Abba," which is like Daddy. Yeah. I had a scripture scholar say, "Abba is not Daddy. It's Papa." Yeah. Daddy is sort of sickly, 4-year-old girlish kind of. I never really liked it. But Papa, that's more sturdy.
I'll never forget the first time I went to a TLM Mass. And I was not used, especially here in California, I was not used to seeing younger guys at Mass. I especially wasn't used to seeing families at Mass. And there was a family there that sat next to me. And it's kind of the typical TLM family, a lot of kids, and they got a minivan and everything.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, I mean, the dad and mom were like anchoring the kids in the pew at each end. And the dad had the little boy holding the son and had the missal in one hand. And it was so beautiful. It was like in a theophany for me. It sounds kind of weird.
You mean the son sitting in his dad's lap reading together?
The dad holding the missal and trying to hold the boy and at Mass and being holy. Because to me, going to Mass and being holy was always kind of for women, and it was sissy. I mean, real men. And the priests that I always grew up with were kind of effeminate and, So, and the priests at the TLM were different. Not that they were bruisers or anything, but I mean,
they were they were dudes. They were manly.
Yeah, the one that modeled me was a short guy, but good, just a man.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Jesus was.
Gotcha. Yeah,
a man.
Yep.
Our Lord was a man.
Think of what our Lord had about him. That rough-hewn, outdoor working, wood measuring fishermen would drop their nets with a couple of words, "Follow me." That's all it took. He had to have. I think he had an element of danger about him. That's my thing about Jesus. He was dangerous.
And with gay guys, it doesn't have to be fancy. The priest that really modeled for me was he was always like, keep it simple, stupid. He was just always simple. It wasn't anything fancy. And I think I wanted something fancy. I wanted the gay guy treatment. I wanted
you wanted the fabulous treatment. You wanted to be a mani-pedi.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted it to be special for me, but I'm not special. I'm just a sinner like anybody else.
Yeah, sin is pretty boring if you think of it.
Yeah,
it's the same old uncreative crap every time. Martha Martinez, courage and encourage need to be supported in Los Angeles and other big cities. It exists, but it's not promoted as it needs to be. True.
Martha is awesome. Yep. Yeah, you know what? At the last year's LA rec, They had a courage speaker. God bless this priest. But, and they can't pull this stuff with me. I've been through this. Mm-hmm. I know the way I know the way they work. So I was, on Gomez's case for years. And I went to Gomez. I said, have these heterodox people here with the born gay, get the sex change operation, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I said, but hey, have the alternative voice, have courage. Well, they did. He did it. But you know what they did? They put it on the very last day of the wreck when people were leaving, because people were packing up and leaving. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even have it at the Anaheim Convention Center. They had it at a hotel.
Again, you got to pray to St. Anthony to find it, right?
I couldn't find it. We were all hauling out there. Everybody was late. Nobody could find it. See what they did? And they didn't have it this year. Mm-hmm. They had no courage presentation. Well, but of course, James Martin was there.
They used to do this back in the day under Cardinal Mahoney. They would have a Benedict Rochelle once, a Peter Kraft once, Janet Smith once. So they go, hey, we're fair and balanced. We've had these people, but they were the outliers.
I've asked the handful of conservative people, Father Spitzer, Father Schmitz. I've asked them not to appear at the LA Rec until they clean this up.
And any replies?
Father Schmitz did reply. God bless him. He did appear. I just thought it would be a great thing if he said why he's not going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that would have done more than going.
Just to take a public stand and explain why.
Because people, God bless them, that go to the LA Rec, I leaflet the place and they don't know. I'm like, don't go to the LGBT sessions. And they're like, wait, Bishop Aaron is here. Mm-hmm.
That's the MO. The MO is to at least there'll be someone who's going to give golden Orthodox content. And if we all boycott it, then it'll become a gay thing. To which one might say, well, then let it be a gay thing.
But Patrick, it's also because someone like Bishop Barron is there, they believe, and they would have no reason not to believe this. They believe that every speaker there is in line with Catholic teaching. Mm-hmm.
So it legitimizes the whole thing.
It is madness because, when I went last year, they put the gender-bred man.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is a really, some people in the LGBT community don't particularly like it. They think it goes too far. Well, they used it.
Wow.
They used it at because everything is fluid, and they used it at the LA Rec. And you've got all these CCD teachers and DREs there, mm-hmm. Eating it all up.
It is. It's a massive thing.
And they all went back to their parishes mm-hmm. to infect everybody else and spread all this stuff. I get calls from teachers at Catholic schools where kids are transitioning.
Yeah. This
is madness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not on the head. It's certainly not on those poor children, those kids. And I don't even know how much it's on the parents. I don't know. It's on the head of Bishop Gomez.
Well, at Bishop. It's in Orange. Bishop Kevin Vann is the bishop of the Diocese of Orange, and I don't know what the relationship is there. I don't know. But yeah, I'll never go back unless it's to be a journalist.
I don't want to be. Hey, I have enough to answer for when I go before the Lord. I don't want to be them.
Yeah. All right. Back to questions. Katie McCarthy, Joseph, who's responsible for the rapid LGBT growth in the culture? The people or the establishment?
Little of both.
Little of both. All right. Let's go.
Just homosexual people just became more visible. And culture. Look at YMCA. Look at the Village People. I know people laugh about that. In the 70s, it was massive.
Yeah,
especially
that's true.
For a kid like me, because here you had guys that were totally gay and cool with it, and everybody was cool with it.
And they tapped into all those hyper masculine stereotypes, right?
the cop and the construction worker and the firefighter. I don't know what the Indian was doing there, but whatever.
Well, that's kind of a gay fantasy. You know.
Ann Barnd asks, where can I find his book Disordered?
And I pulled it.
You don't want to support yourself financially any longer.
There was a thing I wanted to take out of it. I just there's a lot in there that is hard for me to deal with.
Well, you could always do another edition. I mean, I was on your case, as I know. I am on the air and off. I've said the exact same things to you, Joseph, about the first iteration, but that I thought it was way too gnarly. I had to stop reading the book. But also, I wasn't the market for the book. You didn't write the book for me, and I thought that you added some wonderful things in Disordered. And I do understand that you'd want to excise some things, but I'm telling you, your book hits the right nerve. It's very clear. You're a fantastic writer. I read a lot of good writers, and you have an unusual gift of marrying a beautiful way of talking about things that are very ordinarily disgusting and unthinkable. So you've got a gift. That's all I'm saying. That's the end of my spiel.
Thank you.
I expect a big check for that. Brad says, what about some of the economics of homosexuality? Follow the money inquiry. I'm not sure what he means by that.
You mean it like LGBT parishes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he'll chime in.
They're usually in more wealthy areas, for sure.
Margot asks, what is it about sex and homosexuality? I mean, I take it for granted that it's so common sense to me that sex is meant to be free, total, fruitful, and faithful. There's more to life than having sex. Well, that's a truth about the whole lifestyle, that it is. I mean, Nicolosi and I talked about this. It's genital obsessed. It's orgasm obsessed. It's chasing an ephemeral experience that you think is going to seal something or heal it or restore it, and it ends up making the void deeper. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But it's the way, I mean, because I've talked to a lot of gay guys, and it's the way they feel that they're hardwired. It's just they cannot. I mean, I had sex with women, but I know gay guys that absolutely could not imagine having sex with a woman. It would be like a straight guy saying, do you want to have sex with a man? It would be unimaginable.
Right.
And it's just the way they feel that they are wired, and it's the way that they feel that they were born, and the gay Catholics feel it's the way God made them. So that's good.
Someone rightly rebuked me. John Bedard says, I wanted to hear what Joseph was going to say about contraception. You didn't let him answer, so I'll let you answer. Any thoughts on the birth control tsunami in the 60s and what that ended up looking like?
I don't know. I mean, 1973 was a big year. That was Roe v. Wade, but that's also when the American, I always mix this up.
Psychological Association, yeah.
Psychological Association declassified homosexuality as a mental illness. So, I mean, that was two things that let the cat out of the, I mean, it was homosexuality was no longer a pathology. It was no longer pathologized. And if you pathologize it, then there's something wrong with you. You're homophobic.
Do you think there's some causal connection there between the contraceptive mentality and the acceptance of homosexual behavior?
I guess. I mean, the 70s was swinging, So, I mean, I was a kid, but I mean, look at Three's Company. I mean,
yeah, that was 80s too. Soap.
That was 70s. That was
so,
70s.
Yeah, I guess so. That's right.
Suzanne Summers left in 1980, and then.
Okay, I guess that was late 70s. Billy Crystal in Soap. The far as I can tell, the first openly gay character was on a show in 1974 called Hot L Baltimore, and then there was an episode of All in the Family in which one of Archie's army buddies came back, and I think that might have been a sex change too. And then Maude, of course. Maude, right. These shows are created by Norman Lear, who definitely had an agenda against the family.
But people were kind of live and let live, and it was kind of thought to be, open-minded to, you were narrow if you were,
right,
against, homosexuality. But
Brad,
people weren't talking about gay marriage.
Yeah, no, that was beyond the beyond.
And neither were gay guys.
Correct. And a lot of gay guys
don't want to get married. They just want to get laid.
It's very low. The LG community, it's about 12% after Obergefell. But I would they don't distinguish between men and women. I would argue most of those are women, because women want a nest, and women want to be like monogamous.
Yeah. Or at least try for it, right?
Yeah, the saying always was that gay men have a lot of sex with no emotion, and lesbians have very little sex and a lot of emotion.
Okay. Did you read Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life?
I skimmed it, yeah. He's a good guy.
Brad says Joseph needs a new creative outlet.
What does that mean?
I think he means that if you have this gift, because I know you're a naturally creative person, you're an artist, Joseph, and if you're not creating, there's a kind of emotional or almost spiritual constipation. Pardon the metaphor. You're kind of bottled up. There's some things you just want to say it.
I don't know much. I know gay. I know that. I don't know much. I mean,
well, you know chastity, Joseph. You know a lot more than gay. You know the way out.
Yeah.
You can point to the exit door.
A lot of that comes with age. I'm 50 this year old, and younger guys will tell me, doesn't it get easier? And I say, yeah, but I'm burned out. I don't have any interest in sex at all.
When was the last time you had sex with a man?
99.
Okay, that's a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, with anybody.
Sure. Right. Yeah, I'm not trying to pry.
No.
Because some people, they don't know how long you've been in this life of grace.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
When I was in my 30s, it was difficult, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
When I started getting in my 40s, no, I just, sex is, no. Gay sex is strenuous.
Yeah, we can pause there. All right. Hudson Biblo says he's joined David Perez. Thanks, Joseph, for all you do. Good to hear from you, Joseph, says Jessica Marie. Jessica says we were worried about you. That's true.
I was worried about me, too.
Yeah. Kathy Nunnick.
I was losing my mind.
Do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. Thank you so very much for helping where you can. Heart emoji. Tony Lashon, as a faithful Catholic straight married man, how can I be bold yet compassionate when confronted with the LGBTQIA workplace propaganda, as well as the new pronoun ideology? We didn't even get into that. Bold yet compassionate. It's very hard to do.
Yeah, just be a friend to someone,
Right. Okay, I'm trying to compress a lot here. Bethany Mistret, given that commercials and TV shows for kids are showing LGBT images and date sharing I'm so sick of this, LGBT storylines, what's your best advice for talking to young children about this, or about teenagers about the same thing?
Well, that's up to the parents to do it. Hey, if fathers step up, if you have a good relationship with your son, I don't think they'll turn out gay. And
Nicolosi said the same thing.
And same things with mothers. I think if you have a good relationship with your daughter, and this is not always the case, but for the majority of the LGBT people I knew, the guys didn't have a good relationship with their dad.
That's the classic textbook predispository condition.
Or there was an early exposure to porn or sexual molestation.
Mm-hmm.
I had all of them, so I was like doomed from the
all the above.
I was doomed from the beginning. So.
Yeah, but it was a eucatastrophe because you might have been doomed to that, but you were by God's loving providence, you fell upward, Joseph Sciambra. You have had amazing victories in your life.
No,
and I think you're wrong.
The Lord just took pity on me. I was a worthless piece of, and He just took pity on me. I had no interest in Him or the Catholic, especially the Catholic Church. I thought the Catholic Church sucked, so I had no interest in any of it.
But that got changed, and here you are. And
I'm a little bit stubborn too. When that priest told me, "Oh, you're gay," live with it, I was like, "F you." I was like, "I'm going to show you," you know. And then, I just like, I'm going to SSPX. I'm going to just hell with all of you.
Show you guys.
And I.
Martha just wants people to know, Martha Martinez, this theme of this year's Courage Conference is courageous friendship. That's very good.
Oh, God bless them.
Beth Gross, my good friend and associate Grand Poobah, You are such a gift, Joseph. Praying for you.
Oh, thank you. I need it.
That's awesome. Mark Wolf, good idea. This is from Tony. That too has been part of my plan. I'm not sure what that's a reference to. Matt Mercier gave me a great idea, and that is to lead a pilgrimage to the shrines of Canada, like St. Joseph's Shrine, the oratory there in Montreal is just gorgeous. Quebec, I'm reading a book by Father Émile Brière called Under Mary's Mantle, and Canada's so spectacularly Catholic in its
the oratory
origin.
St.
Yeah.
Joseph,
Pat Burke says, Pat Burke's in Japan, by the way, so you're being enjoyed in Japan. Sin really does make us stupid. True. Yeah. I like
desperate. Yeah.
He's got stupid misspelled STUPI, which is funny. Probably on purpose. Yeah. All right. And Ashley McGlone, my husband and I teach RCIA at Confirmation in the Bay Area at Santa Clara at a great parish, Our Lady of Peace in Santa Clara.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
We need you in the church, Joseph. Is there a way for us to connect with you?
Yes, email me.
I'm going to put your email right here.
Okay. That is a good parish.
What's your email, Joe?
Sciambra at yahoo.com. My website is going to be out probably next week, maybe.
Good.
Yeah. I don't want to write about the church anymore. It's got me down. It's too much.
Well, then don't write about the church. By the way,
I can kind of see what Rod Dreyer went through. Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he left the church.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I know people are going to be mad, but I don't.
He had his own. He had his own journey, his own.
Oh, I was
story
ready.
and pain.
I was ready to bail.
Okay.
I was going to be Russian Orthodox.
So Ashley, there you go. There's Joseph's email. Now I think a lot of the people here are probably going to write to you as well, which is
that's
probably
fine.
okay.
Just in case.
Turn off the TV and most media if you don't want to brainwash your family. Totally true. We just broke up. We broke up with Netflix. We're over, and it feels so good.
Good for you.
It feels so right.
Yeah, look at Taylor Swift. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, and now what's her name? Who's the one who's lost her mind? The one who was erotically licking the cake. Yeah, abortion's healthcare. Miley Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's this is Deacon Charlie with a scary stat. So you ready for this?
Yeah, hit me.
Real stat. 35% of Gen Z identifies bisexual. Sexual fluidity is now a major marketing platform for Fortune 500 companies trying to speak to young consumers. Brands are bigger influencers than ever on the sexual culture thing.
I've talked to those people at Pride. They're specifically the young women. They're not bisexual. It's just kind of cool.
Trendy and...
Yeah, like, Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl. And because I really asked them about it. They're not.
Just like a trendy chic thing?
Yeah. I mean, they might kiss the girls or do something, but they're not committed to that. No.
Deborah Jepong joins. Patrick Malone. Hey, Deb. Assuming... okay, so we're getting into weird stuff here. Brad is going back to the financial economic thing. How does this stuff get funded? How does this stuff get funded? Because is there money coming in to fund the gay storylines? Do we stop giving in the church in some way? A lot of people have just given up, like U.S. bishops. Forget it, not a dime. This capital campaign for human development, which are associated with all kinds of agendae, completely at odds with Christ and the gospel. Yeah, people have to make their own decisions on that.
Yeah, the gay Catholics are a minority, but they certainly have friends in high places, and they've moved up. I mean, that sounds like Taylor Marshall, but he's right. They have infiltrated the church to a certain degree. I've seen it.
Matt Mercier says, "Congratulations for 20 years in chastity."
Wow.
Now, you didn't mention it, but Courage also uses the kind of 12-step model, doesn't it?
They do. Yeah.
Like it's something that your life's unmanageable, that you're basically powerless in the face of this compulsion.
It's good. To go deeper, that's when I met Dr. Nicolosi, because Courage doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But in order for somebody to be chaste and stay chaste, you need to address the underlying psychological issues that many people have. And Courage, I wish they could do that, because you don't necessarily need a psychologist there or
No.
a psychiatrist,
True.
but you can just do it in a forum, just with the guys, and just talk about when you were a boy. That's very therapeutic.
Sometimes names are destiny. There's a ironically named psychiatrist who was a disciple of Freud. Her name's Karen Horney, Horney, and she said life is the best therapist.
Yeah.
Just putting one foot up, one foot down, just continuing to go forward.
I've done a lot of therapy. I think it's good if you find a good therapist.
Mm-hmm.
There's on the LGBT issue, really bad ones out there.
And some of them are afraid to lose their license because they don't want to get the Joe Nicolosi treatment. Because they were brutal to him, unbelievable.
After his death, they were it was nasty. And again, I don't think it was from the secular LGBT community. I think it was from the gay Catholics. Boy, they're really going to come after me now, man.
You're built for comeback, Joseph.
Oh.
Pat Burke says, you fell upward. Beautiful. I'm happy which direction Joseph fell in. There you go.
I fell in the gutter.
Yeah, we all
literally.
kind of. Well, it's all in your book, which you eventually should probably reboot and reissue. Also, the National Mariage Notre Dame du Cap. That's true. Just Tony, maybe we can end here because we can go on and on and on. But one last question. This is good. This is from Tony Lachon, and I want to thank everybody for participating. A lot of the crowd just grew and grew and grew, but we have to draw the line somewhere. So wonderful, and I hope people rewatch this and share it. Facebook's probably going to take it and shake it like Jojo the Idiot Monkey Boy. This is probably going to be quarantined. Certainly, if they were going to run ads, forget about it. Because of the title, which I chose on purpose.
I have nothing against the LGBT community.
Of course not. No, it's very Joseph, you have more respect for them than you do for the infiltrators in the church. That's very clear.
Oh, totally. I think there have been many victims, and I think they're one of them. I like I said, I think they deserve. Gay people are just like anybody else. They can make their own decision.
Yeah.
Let them hear what the Catholic Church actually teaches.
Yeah.
Don't throw the spin, and let them decide.
Yeah, Matt says Amazon has just removed English copies of Nicolosi's books. So it's maddening. Okay. I want to ask you about Jesus Loves Gay Men, but here's the last question. It's from Tony Lachon. Joseph, not to pry too much, but what's your prayer life like? What do? You seem to be a man of deep faith, fortitude, and courage, and I imagine that prayer has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, sometimes my prayer life suffers. This past year when things were really dark, and it's always been this way, is Saint Joseph is the one constant in my life. I think he is the key for men with same-sex attraction, as I think Our Lady is the key for women with same-sex attraction. Saint Joseph is just he just protects me. He's always at my side. I don't fear. I was a fearful kid. I was always scared. I was scared of men, but I idealized them as well. And Saint Joseph just has never done me wrong. And now that my dear father has passed away, I know a lot of people in heaven, and a lot of them are people that some would say are burning in hell. But God is merciful, and I think God will be much more merciful with the LGBT community than he will be with the prelates in all their crowns and all their robes.
I thought you were going to say, and all their pomps and all their empty promises, like from the baptismal vows.
Well, you're more lyrical than me, but you know, I recommend the guy Saint Joseph. Turn to Saint Joseph. Go to Joseph.
I just put a link in. I don't know what happened to it. That's weird. There's a Croatian man who's written a trilogy on Saint Joseph. Ivan, it's a not pronounceable name. Anyway, Joseph, maybe I can imagine you writing a phenomenal book about Saint Joseph.
I know
I've
he.
heard a lot about it.
Yeah, well, but maybe that's something that you can indulge your creative gift in a way that's not going to drive you batty. Because I agree, it's not good for your mental health to keep going to the same pool of dog barf and inaction on the part of leaders and all the stuff that is allowed to go on. But you're a tremendous asset. I'm always honored to talk to you, Joseph. You were the first. My interview with you was the very first Catholic Answers Focus I ever did. It was you and a Muslim convert. No one else. I'm like, why isn't this guy given a large platform? Why are there so many closed doors? So,
me?
yeah, I asked myself and colleagues, why can't Joseph Sciambra? It's like the red buttons thing from the 70s, right? Couldn't get a dinner. This guy needs a microphone and a platform, and he needs to be a star, because very, very few people are willing to tell the story that you told and still stay grounded and evangelical and true, but also raw and real. You're a rare bird, Joseph.
I don't know. I've just tried to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people that did read my first book, the gay guys that read it and said, you know what? I was into that sick stuff too, and I always felt ashamed about it, and like I was like kind of not really the only one, but it made me so freaky that I could never like see the light of day out of that. And I said, you know what? I did some really like bizarre stuff, but there is like a tomorrow. It sounds corny. There's a tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, the physical stuff I'm still dealing with. It doesn't go away. Some of the mental stuff I'm still dealing with. What's hurt more is the betrayal in the church. It's hurt more.
Yeah. And makes sense.
And people that have this issue, homosexuality, they've been through enough. They don't need to battle it in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I hear that. Deacon Charlie says I gave him the Mario Joseph lead. That's true. He was the Muslim convert, the imam. So that interview and your interview paired in the very first Catholic Answers Focus thing. So, Joseph, before I thank you, JesusLovesGayMen.com?
Yeah, I still use that sometimes when I outreach. I'm going to be using the Sons of St. Joseph website too. And Saint can be spelled S-T or S-A-I-N-T.
Give it to me. St. Joseph. What is it?
The Sons of St. Joseph. And that's kind of just for anybody, you know. Because straight guys that are in a porn, you know, they're wounded too.
Yeah.
You know, so
a lot of porn woundedness to go around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I hear it every day. And it's a failure of fatherhood in a lot of ways.
So much of it is. It keeps coming back to that. I say that to my good friend Matthew Marsden, who's a big fan of yours, who joined earlier. Yeah, so much of our headlines are because of failure of fatherhood, spiritual and biological.
Yeah.
One
thing. Let me end it with this.
Yeah.
There was this cadre of women at Pride, where, you know, over 1 million gay people and LGBT people, and they had, you know, free mom hugs.
I saw that.
So they were, and they were hugging the people and saying, oh, you know, we love you and we love you the way we are. You know, I didn't see anybody there giving free dad hugs.
Yeah, we're the dad hugs. Exactly.
I didn't see that, and that's kind of what they need. They've had enough mom hugs.
It's
a lot of times. The gay guys. Yep. You know, they haven't had the dad hug.
Gotcha.
But you can get the dad hug from St. Joseph.
You sure can. The strong silent, talk about the strong silent type, right? He must have had a similar kind of menace. I don't imagine that, like, a Ben Affleck could be called the terror of demons. He would be more. I think I picture St. Joseph more like Russell Crowe. You know, terror of demons.
Well, you know, Kevin Sorbo played St. Joseph in this like direct to DVD movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was okay, but he was actually really good. I thought in it. Because he's kind of a big guy, but there's something not menacing about it.
Yeah, he's like the gentle Hercules guy. True.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
So I want to mention CoffeeNation.com. My good wife put the thing there. Don't mention. By the way, we're opening it on in about 2 weeks' time.
July 15th through the 25th, which is the anniversary of Humana Vitae. So if folks watching now or in the future want to join Coffin Nation, we're in 5 countries now. We have half the members here are Nationistas, and you can find out more at that link, coffinnation.com. We're also going to Germany. Now, I mentioned Germany because we have a Catholic pilgrimage to Germany with Father Willie Raymond, great guy from a family of 13. Great guy. Yeah, Obramagao. Yeah, we're going to see the live Passion play, which only happens every 10 years.
That's awesome.
So it's a bucket list thing. So go to patrickcoffin.media /pilgrimage. You want to put that up? patrickcoffin.media /pilgrimage. Why do I bring this up? Not just because seats are going away, we want you to take advantage, but we have an early bird special, which has been extended, but it's going away to, Friday, July 5th. So if you want to come, $100 off. So if you come as a couple, that's $200 off. Not bad. Check out the link. It's just so beautiful. I had no idea how beautiful Germany was. Regensburg, Munich. We're going to hit Dachau briefly and have Mass with the Carmelites. Cross into Austria to see Salzburg, where The Sound of Music was filmed, where the hills are alive. So great trip. That's next May 17th through 25th. So Joseph Sciambra, I want you to, after you tag this from our page to yours, you must read the comments. I can't read them all. It is a tsunami of love for you, my friend. A lot of people miss your writing, are rooting for you. They're definitely in your corner. So keep it up. And I know you've been through the ringer, and you need some, after some R&R, when some dust settles, maybe we'll do this again. And I guess the bottom line is people miss you, and we care about you.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. I love you too, Patrick. You're the best.
Plus, there's this amazing, incomparably beautiful mug too. That comes with membership.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I gotta tip my hat to like Doug Barry, you, Taylor Marshall, some Catholic guys, straight Catholic family guys stepping up. Awesome.
Boldness is contagious.
This is what we need. Awesome.
Yep. Amen. Your lips to God's ears. And you're awesome too, Joseph. Your kind of boldness inspires a lot of us out here. So anyway. We know. What's that?
The video will remain for replay?
Yeah, the video is going to stay on our page for replay. So share with your friends. Something in it for everybody. Thanks for being a gift, my friend.
Awesome.
And happy 4th to you, Joseph.
Thank you. Happy 4th of
Awesome.
July.
Okay, very good. God bless you.
God bless you
All
too.
right.